Welcome to At Home with Music, and in this video we're going to talk about chord substitutions, or as I say in the title, send in the substitutes. Now the definition of a chord substitution is actually pretty easy. A chord substitution is when we replace one chord with another. And so the easiest kind of substitution, and that's what we're going to start with in this video, is to replace a major chord with its relative minor, or a minor chord with its relative major. So what do I mean by relative minor or relative major? Well, these pairs of chords are, as the name suggests, related. Basically, they have two of their three notes in common. So for example, here's a C major chord. Its relative minor chord would be A minor. And so you can see that the C major chord has the notes C, E, G. The A minor chord has the notes A, C, E. So C and E are common to both A minor and C major. Same thing with, for example, the G major chord. It's made up of G, B, and D. Its relative minor is E minor, E, G, B. And so G and B are common to both E minor and G major. So you could substitute an E minor chord for a G major chord, or vice versa. And that will give the chord progression a slightly different sound, and usually you can sing the same melody over the substituted chord. So every major chord has a relative minor, and every minor chord has a relative major. And you can substitute one for the other no matter what key you're in. So here's a list of those chord pairings, if you like. And you can see that they're all, I've covered all 12 notes. So let's try this with a few familiar tunes. And I would encourage you to play along with me here. Let's take a little tune that we've already done in previous videos, Mary Had a Little Lamb. Let's play it with the original chords. And as you know, the song only has two chords. Goes to G and then back to C. Okay, that sounds perfectly fine, but let's try some substitutions in the second line. So the first line we're going to play just like we did before, but let's add some chord substitutions in the second line. So you can see that in the second line, instead of playing the C major chord twice, I went down to the A minor chord. I probably could have used some inversions to make it sound better. Let's see. There we go. You know, if we change chords more often than on the first beat, we could add even more substitutions. Let's see what happens. All right, that may have been a little too fast for you to follow, but you can play through this, and in the sheet that goes with this video, you will see that there's a lot of chords in there, but you should be able to figure it out. Let's try another one. Here's an old hymn, Amazing Grace, How Sweet the Sound. We can play it very simply just using three chords. Play along. Now we're going to send in the substitutes. So in the first line, instead of playing C twice, let's substitute A minor. Okay, and maybe do the same thing here in line 2. And then instead of G, E minor, and then we can go up to G, and then back to C, A minor, then to F, so you can see it gives it just a little more color, makes it a little more interesting, and I would encourage you to experiment with different substitutions and see how it sounds. Let's try one using minor chords. This is the old song, Joshua Fit the Battle of Jericho. Another one with only 2 chords. So, what if we substituted F for D minor? Because F is the relative major of the D minor chord. Well, it's kind of interesting, isn't it? So that's the beginning of chord substitutions, just to kind of help you get your foot in the door. Well, maybe your hand in the door, I don't know. But these will serve you well when you are adding chords to a melody. Could be the melody of a song that you already know and have picked out by ear, or it could be a melody that you made up yourself. But here's your homework. Take a familiar tune, perhaps one you have already figured out from the previous lesson, and experiment with some simple chord substitutions. Now, I must emphasize that there are many, many more ways to create substitute chords than by using their relative minors or relative majors. And so we'll come back to this down the road when we look at the more advanced chord substitutions. The possibilities are endless. Anyway, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below for me in the comment section. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. One of these days I'm going to get that right. And thank you again for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one.